Not every Rolls-Royce owner is buying the same thing. One buys the badge as proof that they have arrived. Another chooses the car because obvious displays of wealth have started to feel unnecessary. One still wants to drive. Another sees the rear seat as a private room between meetings. And at the very top, the owner is no longer selecting a car from a catalog. They are helping create an object that may exist only a handful of times, or perhaps only once. This is not an official ranking created by Rolls-Royce. It is an editorial hierarchy based on motive, why the car is bought, how it is used, how deeply it is personalized, and how much access sits behind the commission. 6 rungs, 1 spirit of ecstasy, and 6 completely different meanings. The first rung is the arrival owner. For this buyer, the Rolls-Royce is the reward. It may follow the sale of a company, a major promotion, a successful investment, or simply the moment when a long-held ambition becomes possible. The specific model matters, but the meaning matters more. A Ghost may be the natural first choice because it is the most driver-oriented V12 Rolls-Royce in the current range. A Cullinan may make more sense for someone who wants greater space, a higher driving position, and the flexibility of an SUV. But in either case, the emotional purchase is the same. The owner is buying a visible line between life before Rolls-Royce and life after it. This is the stage where the badge still carries enormous weight. The spirit of ecstasy is recognized before anyone notices the leather, the hand-finished veneer, or the engineering beneath the body. There is nothing shallow about that. Luxury has always marked transitions. The first serious watch, the first home in the right address, the first car that tells its owner the struggle produced something tangible. The arrival owner may drive the car personally, park it at the front entrance, and still turn back to look at it. At this rung, Rolls-Royce is not trying to disappear. It is meant to be seen. The second rung is the quiet status owner. This person may already have owned louder cars. Perhaps there was a bright supercar, an aggressive luxury SUV, or a collection designed to attract attention from half a street away. Eventually, the motivation changes. The owner no longer wants to prove that the car is expensive. They want a car whose value is understood without being announced. This is where a restrained Ghost, Ghost Extended, or Cullinan can become more meaningful than something visually dramatic. Dark paint, a subtle interior, no need for a specification created around social media. The defining feature is not invisibility. A Rolls-Royce is rarely invisible. It is controlled recognition. People who know. People who do not are no longer the intended audience. The quiet status owner is buying insulation from noise in more than one sense. The cabin separates them from the road, but the car also separates them from the need to perform wealth publicly. At the first rung, the car says, "I made it." At the second, it says almost nothing. And that silence becomes the message. The third rung belongs to the owner-driver. This is important because the stereotype says every Rolls-Royce belongs in front of a chauffeur. That has never described the entire brand. Ghost Series 2 is officially positioned as the most driver-focused V12 Rolls-Royce, while black badge versions sharpen the visual and dynamic character further. Spectre adds another interpretation. As the Marquet's electric super coupe, it delivers power without gear changes, engine vibration, or mechanical drama. Black Badge Spectre takes that concept further and is the most powerful production Rolls-Royce yet created. But the point is not lap times. The owner-driver is buying control over the experience. They want to feel the weight settle through a corner, the steering respond, and the car gather speed with almost no visible effort. They may have access to faster cars. They may even own several. But speed alone is common at this level of the market. Effortlessness is rarer. This buyer chooses the front seat because driving is not a task to delegate. It is the reason for taking the car out. At this rung, the Rolls-Royce becomes less of a symbol and more of a private ritual. The road is quiet, the cabin is familiar, and for a few hours there is nowhere else the owner needs to be. The fourth rung is the chauffeured principle. Here, the center of gravity moves from the front seat to the rear. The car is no longer mainly about driving pleasure. It is about preserving time, privacy, and mental space. Phantom and Phantom Extended make the clearest case for this kind of ownership. The rear compartment can function as a lounge, an office, a meeting space, or simply a barrier between the passenger and the outside world. Rolls-Royce has offered Phantom with a privacy suite using electrochromatic glass to separate the rear cabin from the front, together with an intercom for communication with the chauffeur. That feature reveals the real product at this rung. It is not only transport, it is controlled separation. The chauffeured principal may begin a meeting before arriving at the office, review documents on the way to an airport, or sit in complete silence between two public obligations. The owner is not paying merely for leather and legroom. They are paying to make travel usable. At lower levels of luxury, a car consumes time. At this level, the car gives some of that time back. The outside world sees a Phantom arriving. The passenger experiences a door closing. Those are two very different views of the same vehicle. The fifth rung is the Bespoke Commissioner. This owner is no longer satisfied with choosing a model, color, and interior package. The starting point may be a Ghost, Cullinan, Spectre, or Phantom, but the finished car is intended to reflect a person, a place, a memory, or a private idea. Rolls-Royce Bespoke can involve unique paint colors, embroidery, marquetry, textiles, illuminated details, precious materials, and artwork developed specifically for the commission. In Phantom, the gallery turns part of the dashboard into a glass-enclosed space for commissioned art. The difference is philosophical. A normal buyer asks, "Which version should I choose?" The Bespoke Commissioner asks, "How can this car become mine in a way that cannot be repeated?" At this rung, specification becomes authorship. A family pattern may appear in the stitching. A landscape may inspire the paint. A night sky from a meaningful date may influence the starlight headliner. A material may be selected not because it is expensive, but because it carries a story. The value is no longer fully visible to strangers. Much of it may be understood only by the owner and the craftspeople who created it. That is the transition from luxury as display to luxury as identity. The final rung is the coachbuild patron. This is where the normal idea of buying a production car begins to disappear. Rolls-Royce describes coachbuild as the creation of bespoke bodywork for individual patrons. Modern examples include sweptail, boattail, and the droptail commissions. These are not simply highly optioned versions of an existing showroom model. Their proportions, surfaces, materials, and details are developed as complete design statements. Boattail drew inspiration from yachts and included a hosting suite beneath its rear deck. Droptail took the form of a two-seat roadster with individual commissions including La Rose Noire, Amethyst, Arcadia, and La Rose Noire's related timepiece collaboration. The important point is not the headline price. It is access to a process. The coachbuild patron enters a long relationship with designers, engineers, artisans, and decision makers. The car becomes part automobile, part architecture, part decorative art, and part personal legacy. At the first rung, ownership is about reaching the brand. At the final rung, the brand creates something around the patron. Recognition has almost vanished from the equation. Few people will see the car. Fewer will understand its details. But public recognition is no longer required. The object itself is the record. That is why this owner sits at the top of the hierarchy. Not simply because the car is rarer, because ownership has become patronage. So there is the hidden hierarchy. The arrival owner buys recognition. The quiet status owner buys discretion. The owner-driver buys the experience. The chauffeured principal buys privacy and time. The bespoke commissioner buys identity. And the coachbuild patron buys legacy. These categories are not rigid. One owner can move between them, and the same model can mean different things in different hands. A Ghost can be a first Rolls-Royce or a deeply personal, bespoke commission. A Cullinan can be a public statement or an understated family car. A Spectre can be chosen for its technology, its silence, or simply because its owner enjoys driving it. A Phantom can be an executive tool, a ceremonial object, or a canvas for art. The hierarchy is not really about which model costs more. It is about the point at which the owner stops asking what the car says to everyone else and starts asking what it means to them. So which rung best describes the Rolls-Royce you would choose? Recognition, discretion, experience, privacy, identity, or legacy? Leave your answer in the comments and subscribe to The Uncommon Ledger for more documentaries decoding the hidden hierarchy behind cars, watches, yachts, aircraft, and the objects that exist beyond ordinary luxury.